ಚಿತ್ರಣವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಂದಿನ ಎರಡನೆಯ ಮಹಾತ್ಮರು ಮಾತಾಡುತ್ತಿರುವವರು ಶ್ರೀ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್. ಇವರ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಬೈ ದ ಲಾರ್ಡ್, ಭಗವಂತನ ಆಶ್ವಾಸನೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಇವರು 2022ರಿಂದ ಚಿನ್ಮಯ ಒಲೆಟಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ಸಾಧಕರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವರು BCom, CA, CMA, CS, LLB ಪದವಿಯನ್ನ ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವರು ಜ್ಞಾನಕೂಟ ಎಂಬ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಮೂಲಕ ಅನೇಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ಆಯೋಜಿಸಿರುವ ಅನುಭವ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಗುರಿ ಗಾನ, ಧ್ಯಾನ, ಜ್ಞಾನ. ಗಾನ ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಯ ಸ್ಥಳೀಯ ಪ್ರತಿಭೆಗಳನ್ನು ಗುರುತಿಸಿ ಮೇಲಕ್ಕೆ ತರುವುದು. ಧ್ಯಾನ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸಹ. ಜ್ಞಾನ ಅನೇಕ ಮಹಾತ್ಮರಿಂದ ಇವರು ವಾರಕ್ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಪ್ರವಚನಗಳನ್ನು ಏರ್ಪಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಬಂದಂತಹ ಅನೇಕ ಮಹನೀಯರ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪಾವಗಡ ಪ್ರಕಾಶ್ ರಾವ್ ಅವರು, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಗುರುರಾಜ್ ಕರಜಗಿ ಅವರು, ಇನ್ನೂ ಅನೇಕರು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ತಮ್ಮ ಮಹತ್ತರವಾದಂತಹ ಪ್ರವಚನವನ್ನ ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓವರ್ ಟು ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಸರ್.
ಹಲೋ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಗುರುದೇವರ ಪಾದಾರವಿಂದಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಿಸುತ್ತಾ, ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾನಂದರಿಗೆ ನಮಿಸುತ್ತಾ, ಮಾತಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಮಿಸುತ್ತಾ, ಶ್ರೀ ಶೇಷಾದ್ರಿ ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಲಲಿತಮ್ಮ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಮಿಸುತ್ತಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ತಿಳಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಪ್ರವಚನ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಬೈ ಲಾರ್ಡ್. Sri Krishna has given several promises to humanity in Bhagavad Gita, like focusing on protection, liberation, and care of the devotees. We can quote a few of the shlokas where he talks about this. One is chapter 9, shloka 22, protection of devotees. Then chapter 9, 26, where he promises to accept any offerings made by true devotees. Chapter 9, shloka 31, no devotees of mine ever perish. Chapter 4, shloka 7, 8 and 8, protection of righteousness. Chapter 18, shloka 61, divine presence within. Chapter 18, shloka 66, final liberation and fearlessness. And there are many more. I've just tried to put in few of them. But here, with the time, I'll only talk about two of the things, that is 922 and 926. The primary one is set out in chapter 922. In Bhagavad Gita, this shloka is the most important one, as Lord promises his true devotees both yoga and kshema. This applies both to materialistic world as well as the spiritual aspects of life. This shloka, after we had selected, is part of it's a fourth shloka of 5 shlokas in Geeta Panchamrita, carefully selected by Swami Tejomayananda and Swami Swarupananda as they guide the seekers from self-effort to surrender and from purposeful action to inner freedom. Pancha means 5, so Geeta Panchamrita has 5 shlokas. First 3 shlokas mention what must be done by a person, and next 2 shlokas reveal how he would respond when one follows this. The 3 qualities that are brought out in 3 shlokas are sankalpa or singleness of purpose, total effort and self-control. This shloka is like a pendant of a necklace, as it is in the center of 700 shlokas. This is 357 shloka in Bhagavad Gita. It occurs in the middle of Gita. One may describe it as most precious gem in Gita diamond garland or Gita necklace. One may recollect Necklace Road in Hyderabad around the lake Hussain Sagar. This shloka is in chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, and chapter 9 is also center of the chapters titled as Rajavidya and Rajaguhya Yoga. Rajavidya means royal knowledge. In other words, it is the knowledge which is true knowledge by which there is nothing else that needs to be known. It is Atma Vidya, Atma Gnana or self-knowledge. In spirituality, it is said as unlearn to learn. That is, unlearn the materialistic knowledge and learn the spiritual knowledge. for which the mind should be like a child. Rajaguhya means royal secret. In general terms, secret means one which is known to one person or two or a set of people. Here, the secret does not mean that. It means it is, even if it is told, everybody will not be able to understand. Hence, it is termed as Rajaguhya or royal secret. Now let's go to Shloka 22 of chapter 9. Ananyaschintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Let us see few meanings. Ananya means or refers to exclusive devotion where devotees seek nothing but Krishna. When we say Krishna here, it is Parabrahma. Such person is known as Ananya Bhakta. For him, even Swarga or Brahmaloka are not great except the Lord. Nityabhi Yuktanam refers to being constantly observed or united in meditation on God. Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam, Sri Krishna personally carries the burden of maintaining and protecting his devotees. Now let's ask a question. Why do man work? Answer would be to earn, to buy what is required, to save for the future, living in comfort, etc. etc. In a nutshell, it can be said as to be happy, isn't it? These activities, when we look, are classified mainly into two activities. First one, earn what is not there, that is yoga, aprapya prapti, and second, safeguard those earnings, kshema, prapya vastu rakshana. Here we are talking about materialistic objects. Swami Chinmayanda states the perils of yoga and kshema. All our energies in life usually get dissipated in two main directions, irrespective of one's status in society or one's walk of life. They are procuring things of pleasure which one do not have, yoga, and second one in assuring the security of one what they already have, that is kshema. Example, building a house is yoga, worrying for its maintenance and safety is kshema. Earning money is yoga, worrying for its security is kshema. One wastes all one's power, time, energy, and even thoughts in these two channels, is what Swami Chinmayananda says. In other words, the two activities involved are yoga like a workman and kshema like a security guard. Most of this work is for the individual or their families. Look at our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi, who calls himself a sevak, meaning a workman, but his work is in the interest of nation. Jana Sevaye, Janardana Seve. What else one does apart from these two activities? Actually, some do one of this activity and some both of the activities. Example, Bill Gates, it was said that if $1,000 falls from his purse, the time taken for bending, picking up the currency was not worth because he would have earned more than that. The real question is here how many of us spend time apart from these two activities, especially in uplifting oneself? The answer by the Lord to this question is spend time to uplift or realize yourself. The other two activities which you think are important will be carried on by me for you. The first shloka of Geeta Panchamrita also says, only one can uplift oneself. Ramana Maharshi says that a great gift that one can give to this society is self realization. This is what we have seen in spiritual organizations like Chinmaya Mission and others are doing. They are not only uplifting themselves but also helping others to uplift themselves. Lord in this shloka promises two things to his devotees, which is higher. The first one is yoga. He bestows his devotees the spiritual assets they do not possess. And second one is kshema. He takes to protect the spiritual assets that his devotees already possess. In other words, what makes this shloka especially powerful is Krishna's personal commitment. Lord does not delegate the responsibility of caring his devotees to intermediaries or cosmic forces. Lord rather declares Vahamyaham, I personally carry, indicating a direct intimate relationship where Lord himself assumes responsibility for devotees' welfare. Just a couple of examples. A famous story tells a saint by name Arjunacharya, who in his scholarly analysis doubted the literary meaning of Krishna carrying the needs of his devotees. Finding it too literal, he modified the shloka in his commentary. Krishna appeared that night disguised as a servant himself, carrying food and supplies to saint's home during a terrible storm. The saint asks, why are you struggling in such harsh conditions? The disguised Lord replies that he had to fulfill his promise to carry what his devotees need. This revelation humbled the saint, who understood the profound truth behind words and remodified the shloka to its original form. Another example is Swami Vivekananda when he goes to Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa to take care of his family welfare. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa asks Swami Vivekananda to go and ask Kali Mata. As instructed, Swami Vivekananda goes there thrice. First time he forgets about this and asks for Gnana and Bhakti. Second time he remembers till he reaches the entrance of the mandir. Again he forgets and asks for Gnana and Bhakti. Third time he remembers but he feels it is too trivial to ask such a thing. He returns back to Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and mentions the same, states he is unable to ask such trivial things with Kali Mata. Here one can see that Swami Vivekananda was not able to ask for any selfish desires for himself or his family members, but only for the good of all. When Swami Vivekananda surrendered, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa took care of the welfare of the family. Another one, this is sayings of Dasaru. ಕುಂತು ಪಾಡಿದರೆ ನಿಂತು ಕೇಳುವನಯ್ಯ ನಿಂತು ಪಾಡಿದರೆ ಕುಣಿದು ಕೇಳುವನಯ್ಯ ಕುಣಿದು ಪಾಡಿದರೆ ನಲಿದು ಕೇಳುವನಯ್ಯ. In other words, if a devotee puts one step towards the Lord, Lord puts 10 steps towards the devotee to help them, which indicates the kindness and lovingness of Lord towards his devotees. A mother never thinks of deserting her newborn child who is entirely dependent upon her. Similarly, the Supreme and Eternal Mother of Atman is Lord, who in this shloka offers motherly assurance to Atman, who surrenders exclusively to him. The words used by the Lord here are Vahamyaham. I personally carry the burden of maintaining the devotees, just as a married man carries the burden of maintaining his wife and children. The next question arises is who is a devotee? In other words, one can ask what are the qualities of a devotee or a gnani? Gnani lakshanani or sadhaka sadhanani. Here we can recollect the 36 qualities mentioned by Sri Krishna in chapter 12, shloka 13 to 19, and 20 qualities in chapter 13, shloka 8 to 12. However, the condition placed here is total surrender. This can again be understood through a same analogy of mother and child. A newborn baby is fully dependent on its mother. Mother takes care of the baby's welfare entirely. When baby simply cries, uh, all the things are taken care. But when the baby is 5 year old, the mother's attention will be little less because the baby can take care of some of the responsibilities. But when the child becomes a youth and assumes more responsibility, the mother relinquishes her responsibilities further. Now the father comes home and asks, where is our son? Mother replies, he is not returned after school. He must have gone to a movie with his friends. Her attitude is more neutral as she knows that he can take care of himself. In summary, as the boy assumes more responsibility, mother keeps relinquishing her responsibilities. Lord's law is also the same. When one acts independently, Lord allows him to act. But when one offers exclusively to the Lord bestows his complete grace and takes full responsibility. The best example was Draupadi Vastrapaharana. Uh, to understand total surrender or Sharanagati, just try to take some quotes from great people. First one is Swami Chinmayananda. Surrender is complete abandonment of ego, one's individual will, and the sense of doership, so that one becomes an instrument in the divine will. Swami Vivekananda says surrender is the ultimate expression of love and devotion, that is bhakti, where the individual ego is completely dissolved and the self is eternally sacrificed unto the beloved Lord. Ramana Maharshi says surrender does require that you have no desire of your own, that God's desire alone is your desire. Swami Rama, self surrender is the highest and easiest method of enlightenment. One who has surrendered himself is always protected by the divine power. One who possesses nothing and has no one to protect him belongs to God and is constantly under the protection of the divine. In a nutshell, what is surrender? Giving up. What to surrender? Ego. To whom to surrender? God or Guru. Why one should surrender? For attaining liberation, mukti or moksha. How to surrender? With 100% faith. There are a few more examples. The very first one is Arjuna, after hearing the Bhagavad Gita, surrenders to Lord. Similarly, Bhakta Prahalada, Bhakta Markandeya, Bhakta Ambarisha, Shabari, Mirabai, Gopikas who surrendered to Sri Krishna and realized the ultimate. The yoga and kshema could give one peace and bliss, lead one to self-realization or God realization. God is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. As such, guides his devotees in all aspects. Hence, the word yoga and kshema are also used to mean as Bhagavat Prapti and Bhagavat Prapti Sadhana Rakshane. Next, 926. Patram pushpam palam toyam ye me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktya prahutam ashnami prayatatmanaham. In this verse, Sri Krishna promises to the devotees that he accepts any offering, a leaf, fruit, flower, or water made with genuine love and pure heart. This means spiritual progress is accessible to everyone, irrespective of whether they are rich or poor, male or female, etc. One is not expected to offer expensive rituals or grand sacrifices. Even a simple leaf or a palm full of water is sufficient. After promising the devotees yoga and Shema in 922, Sri Krishna now explains how easy is it to worship the Supreme Lord. If devatas or ancestors are to be worshipped, there are many rules and requirements. However, Lord says he accepts anything that is offered with loving heart. We say God is love, love is God. One should pray or meditate God out of love for Him and not because of fear. Why fear when I am here is what God says. This is a promise He has made here. When I surrender to Him, there is no fear. If one has only one has a fruit, Sri Krishna says, offer it to the Lord. If there is no fruit, offer a flower, or if there is no flower, offer a leaf. If nothing is there, just offer water, that is sufficient. But the important thing is that devotion, the love with which the offer is made. The word bhaktya has been used in this shloka in both first and second lines. It is bhakti of the devotee that is pleasing Lord and not the worth of the offerings. This reveals the merciful divine nature of Lord, as is not concerned with material value of one's offerings. Rather, he values above everything else the love with which one makes the offerings. In Hari Bhakti Vilasa, it is stated that if one offers Lord with sincere love, just a tulasi leaf and as much water as one can hold in one's palm, he will offer himself to you in return because he is endeared by love. How wonderful is it that the Supreme Master of unlimited universe, whose glorious qualities and virtues are amazing beyond description, and by whose mere thought multitudes of universe come into existence and disappear again, accepts even the humblest offering of his devotees that is given with genuine love. This same shloka is in Srimad Bhagavatam also, where which Krishna says while eating dry rice of Sudama. The one point I want to mention here, I delightfully partake of that article offered with love by my devotees in pure consciousness. This is what he says. Before the Mahabharata war, when Sri Krishna went to Hastinapura to explore possibility of fashioning an agreement between Kauravas and Pandavas, the evil Duryodhana had proudly prepared meal with 56 different items. However, Sri Krishna rejected his hospitality and instead went to the humble hut of Vidura. Vidura was so overjoyed to receive Supreme Lord at home. He had only bananas to offer. He was so overjoyed that he dropped the fruit and put the banana peel into Lord's mouth. Seeing Vidura's devotion, Sri Krishna blissfully ate banana peels as if they were the most delicious food in the world. There are other examples in Sri Krishna Tulabaram, Rukmini offering a tulsi leaf. Then in Gajendra Moksha, Gajendra offering a flower or pushpam to Lord Vishnu. And in case of Shabari, who offers palam or fruit to Sri Rama. To conclude, from the meaning of the shlokas, one may say that this shloka or that shloka or only few shlokas make the promise, uh, make the pro- are sorry, make the promise by the Lord. But in reality, when seen from proximity, one can understand that Lord has promised to take care of his real bhaktas in every shloka of Bhagavad Gita, every word of the shloka, and every letter of the word. Thus, Bhagavad Gita itself is a promise by the Lord and a path to realize Him on one hand, and on the other hand, being in the same state of happiness in life. In other words, as Bhagavad Gita helps ones in spiritual journey as well as materialistic journey of life, it is called both as Moksha Shastra and Jivan Shastra. Hari Om.
ಹರಿ ಓಂ. ಶ್ರೀ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಳ ಸಹಿತ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನ ಆಶ್ವಾಸನೆ ಏನೇನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಅಲ್ಲ ಆ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯೇ ನಮಗೆ ಆಶ್ವಾಸನೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದು 100% ಟ್ರೂ. ಸೊ 100% ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆ ಅದು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಂತಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಪಾಲಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರೇ.